It's Sunday night, and welcome to my patio. Hopefully you had a good weekend, maybe took advantage of our children's church or one of the worship opportunities together online. And now I wanted to get you an update on our Kenya mission trip. Half the group is probably on a plane right now. We think they have successfully departed from Nairobi. The other half was scheduled to come back this coming weekend, and their plane tickets got delayed and reshuffled, rebooked. Well, one of the problems is they were due to come back on the 28th at the last booking, but now we've found out that the Kenyan government has announced they're going to shut down the airports on the 25th, so we had to spend some time today trying to rebook them to get out, and maybe, just maybe, we've got them booked on some flights on the 24th, but we're not sure of whether that's going to be successful or not, so I'd like to invite you to pray about that. I was thinking about prayer and our prayers for people we love, maybe somebody you're concerned about, because of some health condition that they have and that the virus is kind of spreading, or maybe a trip like the Kenyan trip. It reminds me of the time when I was a chaplain at Blue Mountain Academy. Over home leaves, students would be going home, traveling a good distance, and when I would ask them about prayer requests and class periods right before they would leave, often somebody would raise their hand and say, well, I want to pray for traveling mercies. Maybe you've used that phrase too, praying for traveling mercies. It kind of fits the description of any of those times when we might gather and just pray as we're leaving on a trip. But I would like to talk to them about traveling mercies, and you too, what do you think of traveling mercies? Is it the idea that if we do just the right thing, God will have mercy on us? Where if I don't pray, He won't love me quite as well? Or if I pray for you and you travel, He'll love you a little bit better, protect you a little bit more? I'm not sure that's exactly what's meant there. I was thinking about this a little bit too as Pastor Chris preached this last weekend. He referred to Psalm 91 and some of the amazing passages there. I'll take you to the very beginning. I don't think he visited these verses. So Psalm 91 verse 1, for instance, says, "He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart." And I think about that visual imagery of God as a mother hen kind of collecting us under its wings, keeping us warm, sheltering us. But I also kind of wonder about this notion that if I pray, that He's going to protect us from all things. That doesn't seem quite enough to cover all that God is up to. Much of the New Testament and Paul's writings talks about sufferings and challenges and difficulties and being a warrior for God. And then you have this passage from John 16 where Jesus is just about to go to the cross and He's talking to His disciples and He says this, "I've told you all these things, what I've shared with you, so that in me you may have peace." Is He talking about the kind of peace that we get when we know nothing bad could happen? And now He says then, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I've overcome the world." What He's saying is, look, part of my shelter of you is that I have you no matter what happens to you. Not that nothing will happen to you, but no matter what does, I've got you covered. I've got you safe. I have eternity for you. It's a little bit different than just simply praying a prayer and waving a magic wand or kind of typing in the right words to Amazon and making sure God sends us the right thing in 2 days. It's a little different than that. It's about trusting in His power over us in the long term. And then I read Isaiah 55, where the writer in the 9th verse says, "As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than yours, and my thoughts than your thoughts." This is God saying, my thoughts come from a completely different angle than yours do. You're worried about the coronavirus right now, and so that might be the thing that brings on some problem for you, some difficulty, social distancing, maybe even death for somebody. And God is saying, I'm looking at it from a whole different angle. I'm solving this death thing forever. Your trip back from Kenya, you could have a delay. You might even get stuck in Kenya. But in fact, trusting in God, the one who says, I've got you covered. Tonight as you go to bed, I encourage you to pray for our travelers coming back, our family members, our loved ones coming back from Kenya, for all that's going on in the world, our leaders as they make decisions and they grapple with how to deal with this, but do so in the midst of peace that comes from knowing I've got somebody who has my back no matter what. All right, well, maybe tomorrow I'll talk to you again from right here on my patio.